Greetings, sirs and madams. I'm Seraphic0, and we're playing the Monster Hunter World Iceborne Beta. I'm joined here by Heavy Arms Zero and Salty Walty. So you guys know them, they've been on the streams with me before. And what we're attempting today is a claw attack only run on the Great Jagras. And I know you guys are asking, Zero, did you really waste your life recording something like this? And I'll just say this, I did, but you clicked on it. So, yeah, I think that makes us about even. Yeah, so, just, I figured I'd use this opportunity to kind of talk about a few of the claw attack mechanics in Iceborne. It should be fairly interesting and useful because there are some implications that will affect gameplay when the full game comes out. So first of all, yeah, this is going to be actually fairly difficult to do. We actually timed out a few times, but yeah, so it looks like they went ahead to go ahead and find the Jagras. I went to my tent to grab a few items we're going to need, like a shock trap and a few like demon powders and stuff. Yeah, so in addition to claw attacks, we're going to allow slinger bursts and things like that to like knock Jagras into walls and stuff, so that will help us do some damage. Okay, so in order to do claw attacks, you just you grapple onto the monster with the clutch claw, and then you press the circle button. So while you are mounted on the monster, if you're not doing any attacks, it'll like very quickly drain your stamina. You can reduce the stamina drain if you use Marathon Runner and your armor skills. I think there are some armor pieces in the beta that has Marathon Runner actually. And the claw attack, which you perform with circle, it does consume stamina, like kind of similar to an evasion. So the stamina consumption on that is affected by the armor skill Constitution. So the armor skill, or the armor set I have, has a mix of Marathon Runner and lots of Constitution. And I believe I have the Beatotus legs, because that has Agitator. And Agitator will have some really interesting effects on what we're attempting here. So let me go ahead and relay some information I found on GameFAQs. Just so you know, I did not discover this information. It was posted by a user named Fitzcarrold. So I want to say thank you, Fitz, for sharing this information with us. So what he posted seems to say that claw attacks and mounted attacks, well, grappling attacks, they will actually cause enraged values for the monster. So if the monster is not enraged and you use a series of these attacks, it will actually cause the monster to become enraged. So basically a claw attack will do about 34%. So if you hit the monster with 3 claw attacks, it will become enraged. And a flinch shot, like it will actually do a 50% raged value. So if 2 people like do flinch shot, this will get the monster to be enraged. Yeah, so what this basically means is that, well, if you spam claw attacks, the monster will be in an enraged state for most of the hunt. And this can, like, in a sense, be a bad thing, you know, because monsters are a lot more aggressive. When they're enraged, they attack faster, their attacks hit harder. So, in some senses, you should avoid this. You know, if your team is very new at this and they're, you know, getting slapped around and you don't want them to die, maybe you should avoid enraging the monster intentionally like this. On the other hand, if your armor skill uses Agitator, which gets damage and or attack and affinity buffs while enraged, you can basically have an almost 100% uptime for Agitator if you use this mechanic. So, you know, whenever the monster's not enraged, you just claw onto them and hit them 3 times with the claw, or you can do 2 claw attacks and then a burst. This will effectively keep the monster enraged, so you have uptime for Agitator. So, yeah, I was very interested in finding that out because, you know, in the older games, I think primarily in Monster Hunter 4U, Agitator was one of the best offensive skills. And it kind of fell by the wayside in World because, you know, it has such a high armor skill like cost to it. You know, you need 5 points for it to get the full activation, which that's kind of costly compared to a lot of things. But, you know, if now we can have 100% uptime, that can be a really, really big damage buff. So yeah, that was just very interesting for me. In addition, you'll notice that if you look at the messages on the right side, a lot of the hunters are like declaring that they've wounded the monster. Now, normally, from the news that we've heard from Iceborne is that, you know, only the heavy weapons can tenderize monster parts with one like a claw attack or one clutch claw like weapon attack, but that turns out to not be true. There are other ways to tenderize monster parts. So yeah, so heavy weapons like the lance, they can do it with one like clutch claw lance attack, or you can tenderize using claw attacks. So if you want to tenderize using the claw, that will take 5 hits with the claw. Ooh, okay. Yeah, Salty knocks Jagras into a wall right there. Yeah, so you can tenderize using 5 claw attacks, and I think if you have a light weapon, like something like a light bowgun or a gun lance, so those weapons, normally when they do their clutch claw weapon attack, that doesn't instantly tenderize, and instead it's designed to have the monster drop slinger ammunition. If you do multiple hits with that, that does tenderize the monster. Like you just have to do it more than once, which can be risky. And I'm not actually sure how many hits that will take to tenderize the part. Probably at least 2, maybe up to 3 of them. You know, which can be very time-consuming and risky. But just so you guys know, you guys can tenderize parts. It's not exclusive to the heavy weapons. And so that means you can actually combine claw attacks with your weapon attacks to tenderize faster. Of course, you can do it in one clutch claw mount sequence, I think. So I think you can like claw 3 times and do a weapon attack. I believe that should tenderize in one go. So just so you guys know, you guys aren't, you know, down the river without like a without a means to steer. Like if you're using a light weapon, you guys do have the capacity to tenderize. So yeah, I think that's all the mechanics that was reported by Fitz. So I want to say thank you, Fitz, for like sharing that with us. It should be fairly useful for everybody. So yeah, so when we get around to Iceborne in September, like that should make for some really interesting mechanics that we can take advantage of. Okay, and yeah, so back to the actual hunt here. Yeah, this is really goofy. We have all 3 hunters mounted on the Jagras here. And what I find that makes it easier to like cling on to the monster is that, you know, like your stamina drains so fast when you're just hanging on that if you're using claw attacks, you can actually hang on for longer while the monster is changing areas. This might be only the case because we're using a lot of Constitution on the armor skills, but yeah, I think with that you can actually chase the monster or hang on to the monster for longer while it's changing areas. So just keep that in mind. For Lance, like I said before during the beta live streams, I just find that, you know, using a Lance charge to chase is a little more efficient. You know, because that way you can do a lot of damage and chase the monster at the same time. But yeah, generally, like you won't have time to clutch claw unless like your lance is already put away or you're already in the claw stance, like for, you know, hanging on to the monster. Yeah, so yeah, taking out this great Jagras with just claw attacks is going to be super tricky. Yeah, and I always try to dismount before my stamina completely drains because like you'll be in that exhausted state it takes a while to get back out of. So Jagras is actually fairly dangerous, like when you're trying to take him out like this, you know, because you can get knocked off and damaged when he attacks. So I try to make use of the Rocksteady Mantle when I can. And yeah, like the claw attacks, they just don't do very much damage. About between 14 and 17. It looks like when the monster parts are tenderized, you do hit harder. So like you do deal more damage. And claw attacks seem to be affected. They do seem to be affected by your attack stat. So, you know, in the beta, you don't really have a wide range of weapon attack values available. I assume that they're all going to be the same and scaled the same, so, like, we just have equipped whatever weapon. And we have, most of our armor skills are tailored towards allowing us to do more claw attacks instead of doing heavier damage. So, I think when the full game comes around, we might try this again with armor sets that are decked out for doing this. You know, lots of attack values, lots of constitution values, and we'll try it on a monster with a smaller HP pool, like a low-rank Jagras or something. But yeah, I think probably the best way you can do a run like this is to just have a very, very, very high raw attack weapon. Have lots of slots, so you can like slot in like attack values, use lots of agitator, use lots of constitution so you can hit more often, and maybe use flinch free so that you can still stay on to the monster while it's attacking you. So yeah, I think with that combination of stuff, you can do a fairly successful claw run. Okay, so from here, I think, yeah, I've basically explained the strategy, so I think we're going to go ahead and just fast forward to the interesting bits of the hunt so you guys can see that. Alright, nice. So it looks like we got Great Jagras knocked into the wall, and I have clawed onto its head, and I'm just clipping into the ground. That was weird. Oh, nice! So we have Jagras limping. Yeah, we have like a little less than 5 minutes left on the clock. Man, this is proving to be a lot more difficult than I thought it was gonna be. Yeah, so it turns out, like, yeah, this Jagras has a lot of HP, and claw attacks just don't do all that much damage. Yeah, so I'm gonna slow it down with a flash pod here. And I need to replenish my stamina, so I'm gonna take a ration. This can't go on for much longer, can it? Okay, so we're back out here in Area 1. Jagras is eating again. This might have been the 4th or 5th time he's eaten something, but oh man, he must have terrible indigestion. So yeah, he's limping off again. So it looks like there's actually a Nargacuga there in Area 1 with us. I did not know that Narga came down to this area of the map, so yeah, there are some valuable information. So now we know. Okay, so I tried to hit Jagras with a Slinger Burst, but unfortunately I was clung onto his arm instead of his head, so yeah, that didn't quite knock him over. But it did do a pretty good amount of damage, so... Okay, man, I am really worried we're gonna time out again. This is getting pretty messed up. Okay, so somebody managed to flash bomb the Jagras. That will give us a bit of an opening. Yeah, I think at this point we've completely exhausted all of our traps and all of our various types of slinger ammo. Okay, whoa, actually somebody did have a pitfall trap left. Oh Jesus, I am out of stamina. Okay, Jagras is limping off again. Let's see if we can catch him before he makes it back to his nest. Oh, shit! Okay, it looks like we got him this time. Yeah, so I think Heavy knocked him into the wall and he broke his neck from the wall bounce attack. Oh man, that was absolutely brutal and exhausting for everybody involved. Okay, guys, yeah, that was really stupid, but yeah, I want to thank Heavy and Salty for indulging me in this completely stupid idea. But yeah, that was not exactly fun, but it was pretty interesting. Yeah, so that took 18 minutes and 39 seconds. I'm sure we can get that time down, maybe if we had a fourth person. But yeah, that was pretty interesting and really goofy, like overall. But anyway, guys, I think that's going to be it for now. Hopefully you found this information useful, and hopefully you found the hunt to be entertaining for you. But yeah, that's going to be it for now, and we'll see you next time.